In this video, we are talking about Epic Universe. We're going to talk about the mindset of fans in regards to Epic Universe based on this new ticketing, the leak, right, of the 3-day minimum ticketing package. What does the backlash mean or even point to in regards to this park? We're going to talk about it, break it down, analyze it. Up next, I got the Italiano, Mr. McNasty, with us today. Up next on OG 55. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG 55. And if you don't know what Mr. McNasty is, then you missed our music video reaction last night. I will put it at the end of this video. Really funny stuff. George and I had a great time reacting to. It's a music artist by the name of Jay Park, and he has a new song called McNasty, and we had a blast reacting to it. It was so freaking funny. So check it out. It will be in the very end of this video. But George, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well. Not too bad. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in the Berg. Yeah, other than that, doing good. Can't wait to discuss this topic with you. And also looking forward to, at the time of this recording, we're going to be doing a live show in a few hours. So that's always a fun time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you let everybody home know where they can find you on social media.
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
Sticky, sticky. There we go. There we go. You know, I might have to lower the volume on that drop, though. It's kind of loud. It's kind of loud. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
You like it? Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's bolster. It's like I'm here. It's like I'm the Italiano.
Yeah, it's aggressive. I like it. Okay, I'll keep it. I'll keep it. So George, our topic today is Epic Universe, right? Mm-hmm. So the travel agencies or the third parties, you know, they got this information for these packages, which, you know, we talked about it in a video before, where basically they're not allowing single tickets for Epic Universe. They're requiring you to, at a minimum, by the way, it's a minimum of a three-day package, and Epic Universe can only be one of those days. And that even includes, even if you go 14 days, Epic Universe is still only one day, okay, which is kind of weird to me, okay? But whether you're 3 days, 14 days, it doesn't matter. You can only do one day at Epic Universe, okay? So we've been kind of talking about this and everything, and I want to make it very clear too. We're fair here on the channel. You know, we're going to give, you know, Universal a fair shake. I'm not going to just, I'm not going to leave information out. I'm going to give everybody all the information. Okay. Universal has not officially given us the pricing or the packages, any of that information yet. Okay. They have not officially given anything out. The information that we have received is information that Universal has sent to the travel agencies. So it's not a rumor, okay? It's not necessarily fake news, but at the same time, it's not exactly official out in the open news either. And Universal did say they are going to make more announcements in regards to packages and ticketing at a later date. So this will likely change. Now, here's the issue. This particular leak, the 3-day minimum, Epic Universe, you can only do one day, and you can't buy single-day tickets for Epic Universe, has caused quite a stir on social media, okay? We talk a lot about it here on OG55, how a lot of times fans give Universal a pass. They kind of let them do whatever because, you know, they're not the mouse house, basically, right? And you know, we're trying to make Disney jelly, so let's just let Universal do whatever they want, right? But this time isn't the case. I mean, I see a lot of people out there on social media really pushing back on this news. I've seen people that have been very pro-Universal historically say, look, I'm not going to this park until they change this ticketing situation. Okay, it's not one people, it's not two people, it's by and large, the vast majority of the community is really not happy with this news. Okay, people are saying we don't want to go to the other two parks. We want Epic Universe, right? We want Epic Universe. Our buddy Mondo from Five Fires, he made a video on this. He did a live, I think it was a live stream. I was checking him out. He was saying the same thing. Nobody wants the other two parks. We want Epic. You know what I'm saying? So here's my question to you, George. Universal's plan, right, is to add another day to the Universal Resort experience. Mm-hmm. And you and I have been talking a lot about the problem of cannibalization when Epic Universe comes online. And, you know, we look, obviously Universal is too with this move, right? So they see it as well. So maybe they watch the channel. You never know. but maybe they watch the channel, right? Shout out to Universal. No, but woo. But here's the thing: if we're getting this much pushback from people saying, "Oh my God, I don't want to have to buy ticket. I don't want to have to pay for the other two parks. All I want is All I want is Epic Universe. I want Epic Universe a la carte. Basically, that's all I want. I don't want IOA and the Studio Park." Does this not bode well for Universal's plan to create a resort and add another day? If fans are bitching and moaning about having to include the other two parks because we just want to go to Epic, does that not nick away at Universal's sort of desire to have this be more of a resort akin to a Walt Disney World and adding the extra day? Remember, in order for this to be what Universal wants it to be, people have to go to the existing parks and add another day. And people are not wanting to do that apparently, because I see a lot of pushback. Is that a problem for Universal, or maybe not? Maybe I'm reading too much into it. What do you think, George?
I think honestly, Universal thought that they can kind of get away with this notion where they can kind of get unscathed, where people will be like, yeah, I really want to do Epic Universe. Yeah, we'll add the other parks into the equation as well. That's really cool. But lo and behold, nobody wants to do the other parks. I'm not saying that those parks aren't any good, but they don't want to do those parks while they want to enjoy Epic Universe. And we've been hearing from the community of saying, oh, you know, this is going to be the crown jewel of theme park entertainment. This is going to bring Disney to its knees. This is going to be the new Epic Universe is going to be the new way of how theme parks are operated. God, I hope not. And it's also to the notion of, okay, people are going to stop going to Disney. They're going to start going to Universal because it's going to extend out the trip where people are going to want to spend 1 to 2 weeks at Universal. Right now, people don't even want to spend 4 days at Universal, let alone 2 weeks.
Well, that's true. That's true. I mean, how yeah, people, at least the fan community, they're like, no, we don't even want to spend 3-day minimum.
They just want to experience Epic Universe. And now if they wanted to buy like maybe, I'm just saying, maybe what if they wanted to buy 2 single-day tickets for Epic Universe and they say, okay, we'll go this week, then we'll wait a couple weeks and go again. That should be their option. But to kind of sling-hold themselves into, okay, for every single time I want to go to Epic Universe, I have to buy a minimum of a 3 park day in order to do so.
Right.
Which, to Slimer's point, if you don't want to go to the other parks, that's the equivalence of saying that Epic Universe for a 1 day is around $300.
Right. Exactly. Our family's willing to do this. And here's the other thing too. And our friend Gator Fan, he made a good point, and I want to bring it to your attention. The pushback that we are seeing is from our community, the fan community, the nerd community, right?
Right.
Okay, well, the fan community, or the people that we communicate with, and the people that we see complaining on Twitter, that's not necessarily indicative of the average family. It's more about the maybe a little bit more of a locals sort of makeup, right? Because it's the diehard fans, like, you know, people like me in California who live locally, and we're obsessed with these parks. I think that's a fair point to make. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that is what's going on here? And then the normies, the soccer moms and the families will have a completely different opinion of this park, where, you know what, hey, no, we're willing to just, do a 3-day minimum. Or do you think that the families will have a similar kind of opinion as the diehard fans?
That's a terrific point. I do think that this notion will play to for those families that are traveling, just to say on vacation. And it's like, okay, well, if they want to experience Epic Universe, then you get a 3-day ticket. So it's like a package. So if you're going to be down there and you're traveling by plane, trains, or automobiles, that
great movie, by the way. Great movie, by the way.
Very good movie. That they, they're going to be down in that area anyway. So it's like, yeah, give them like a 4-day kind of package thing. But the only caveat to that is it still only subjects that family from traveling to still go to Epic Universe one time. So just to say, if they wanted to do 2 Epic Universe days, they would have to buy basically 2 sets per person of a 3-day park ticket.
I guess, and there might even be restrictions on that. I don't even know how that would work.
If that's the case, if Universal is going to stick to this plan, I hope to God they change it. Because honestly, of what has been leaked, they really should take the hint that people are not happy with this.
I think they're going to change it. I think that there's one thing about Universal I will give them credit for. They do tend to listen. I don't think that they're going to let this slide. I think they're going to announce something probably soon. And I suggested this. Universal cannot let this marinate for 6-7 more months. Or whenever they plan on getting around to announcing the official stuff. Now that it's out there and you have all this backlash, you have got to put the information out there ASAP. You cannot let the fandom and the internet sort of speculate and kind of smear this thing for 7, 8, 9 months or whatever it is until you decide to announce it. You got to announce it like this week, Universal. What are we doing with these ticket options? Yada, yada, yada. But I do think they are gonna change it. My thing though is more or less like the mindset. Like the pushback is bigger than just the ticketing. The pushback also indicates the mindset of fans, that fans don't really want a longer stay at Universal. Fans don't care about that. Fans want Epic Universe. So it's like that's a problem, I think, for a Universal who's trying to add that extra day in there. So even if Universal does fix it and does change it, which they probably will, I'm sure of it, but that doesn't change the fact that people were still mad that they had to incorporate the other 2 parks.
Now, let me ask you this. Say they do change this, or there's more to it that we, they attach to it and they kind of slip it under the rug and say, oh no, we were going to add more to it yet. But deep down, we know Universal knew they screwed up, so they have to cover it up or what have you. Even if they change it or update it or what have you, does this put somewhat of a little bit of a permanent ding in how people view Universal? Even though it's like, okay, they fixed it, but would always be in the back of people's minds to say this is how greedy Universal was, to try to squeeze every nickel and dime out of us just because we wanted to go to the newest theme park.
People are super forgiving of Universal because they think they're teaching Disney a lesson. Disney has all this hubris, all this arrogance, so we have to teach Disney a lesson. So we're gonna praise Universal and sort of do the whole like I'm gonna make my ex-girlfriend jealous kind of mindset, right? With Disney, that's kind of how the fandom is, right? It's fine, but that's how it is. But the problem in doing that, where you sort of just completely fawn over Universal because you think you're hurting the mouse house somehow, is that you're fostering the same hubris and arrogance in Universal when you don't hold them accountable. You're leaving this monster over here and creating the same monster over here. You understand? Mm-hmm. People don't get that. People don't understand that for some reason, but that's exactly what you're doing. So, Universal thinks they can get away with murder because no one holds them accountable. And then you end up with shitty packages and shitty stuff because they feel like, hey, the fans aren't going to say shit. They're too worried about how the churro cart at the Magic Kingdom changed color from blue to red. So,
that is true.
Right? Totally. So that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? So I think it does hurt them a little. I think it does hurt their reputation a little bit because I think people are starting to see the reality of these situations settling in. You know what I'm saying? These companies usually behave pretty much the same when they're in the similar situations. Comcast is not Comcast is such a big company, and people treat it like this underdog, like this scrappy underdog. Comcast is gigantic. Okay, you guys. They're maybe number two, they're even in the theme park world. They're number 2 to Disney. They're not a mom and pop. This isn't like, Deborah's Cookie Shop on Ventura Boulevard. Okay, they are massive. Massive. And people act like they're this underdog. They will behave just like Disney when given the opportunity, and we're already seeing it. We're already seeing
Deb's
it.
Cookie Shop.
Deb's Cookie Shop, man. Deborah's Cookie Shop. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, man. I mean, and you're seeing it. You're already seeing how they're behaving. They're already starting to, the prices we talked about in previous videos for Universal is going up and up and up and up and up, and they will continue to go up. We're seeing all this ticketing stuff about how they're trying to funnel you into a 3-day. That's the other thing too. People complain about Disney being too expensive, but here we are, Universal's forcing you into a 3-day minimum. How come there's, I mean, I don't get it. I really don't understand it. But what say you, George?
Yeah, it's basically, people kind of contradicting themselves. Yeah, it's okay to do that with Universal, but Disney, it's unforgivable. It's like, how dare the Walt Disney Company do that? They take all our money. They take advantage of us. They give us this. They give us that. But it's like, okay, well, Universal's doing the same thing. They are literally forcing you, in a way, holding you against your will of ever experiencing Epic Universe, to force you to go to their other theme parks that you have already been to that you don't want to go to right now. You want to experience the brand new theme park that it's been over 20 years.
And they're forcing you because they haven't properly invested in the other 2 parks. We talked about it. We got Velocicoaster, we got Hagrid's, we got some DreamWorks land. Like I said, it looked like it was built on $35. And we got the VillainCon thing, Over how long? I mean, the last big expansion at the studio park was Diagon Alley a decade ago. They haven't really worked on these other parks, like they should have in prep for Epic Universe. If these other 2 parks were stronger, on a stronger footing, the cannibalization wouldn't be as bad. It would still occur, because I think the cannibalization is going to happen. I mean, they can hold it off as long as they want. It's going to happen eventually. They can kick that can as long as they want. It's eventually going to happen.
It happened with Disney's Animal Kingdom.
It did. But at least they could have mitigated it if they invested more and more into these 2 parks. And they really haven't. If you really look at what they've given these 2 parks, they haven't properly prepared. We hear rumors all the time about like a Pokemon thing and this, that, and the other for these parks. But that stuff should have been in motion already. If they're this worried about cannibalization, all that stuff should have been in motion already,
Yeah, there were in talks of rumor right now, obviously. Zelda's going to come to IOA. It's going to replace the Lost Continent. Pokemon, possibly at the studios with, I think with the Simpsons area.
Yeah.
I believe.
And those are both great ideas.
Yeah. But they should have been put, as you said, put in motion along with Epic Universe. Because again, are people still going to want Epic Universe? Absolutely. But just to say, if Universal did give that option, you have to do a 3-day park ticket in order to do Epic Universe, people would be like, cool, we still have to experience Zelda, we still have to experience Pokemon. That would give the incentive a much better deal for your money, but now they have to do it afterwards, and now they're going to be rushing to the fact of saying, okay, well, we got to put these in these parks, and now in the meantime, what are they going to do? It's disencouraging people to even go to Epic Universe.
Man, I don't know what they're going to do. I really don't. But I'm actually very surprised at this whole situation. The ticket deal, I'm surprised at, number one. And again, this is not a rumor. This is information that was given to these travel agencies. So this is not like some rumor, like, from like a blog or something. This is real information. But it's like, I'm surprised at that. And I'm surprised that there's so much pushback in regards to this, because Universal historically doesn't get a lot of pushback. And the fact that there is so much pushback shows you people don't want the all-inclusive Universal thing. They just want Epic Universe a la carte. Now, to be fair, and Gator fan has a great point. You know, I mean, shout out to Gator fan. I mean, he does have a good point. Will the families see it that way? We know what the hardcore fans think. The hardcore fans are not happy. You know what I'm saying? The locals and all that, they're not happy, right? Will the families traveling be just as upset or turned off in regard to this? That's yet to be seen. We'll see how that works out.
I think it just depends on how many days that they were anticipating on wanting to go to Epic Universe.
Well, and how many days they want to do Disney World. Now, if Universal's locking you or forcing you into a 3-day, I mean, how do you that cuts your Walt Disney World vacation? Because you can do Walt Disney World in what, like a week? Is that fair?
I think for the most part, like if you're a family just wanting to experience like the theme parks and what have you, not really care about like the ins and outs of the resorts and everything, yeah, you could probably get away with like a week. Like a week.
So if Universal, you're asking people to dedicate 3 days at Universal minimum just to visit Epic Universe. You're asking families to essentially cut their Walt Disney World vacations almost in half. Because remember, people don't have unlimited PTO. People don't have unlimited money or time either. So something's got to give here. You know, not everyone can afford just to tack on 3 days.
Because it would be 3 days, and then the fourth day would be Epic Universe, if I understood that correctly. So essentially, you would need 4 days altogether for Universal.
Yeah. So yeah, 3 or 4 days, and that cuts it it cuts the average Walt Disney World vacation in about a week. It cuts it in half about a week. Are families willing to do that? I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see what happens, you know. But, you know, I think
eventually it's going to have to go back to what it used to be, where it was you're either going to do a Universal vacation or you're going to do a Disney vacation. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Right now, the way that it seems like it's going, because if you're locked in with that, you may not have no choice. It's either you do the deal, you know, with Universal, and you cut your Walt Disney World trip out, or you still want to do Disney, but you might have to alter your trip to Universal minus Epic Universe.
It's crazy. We'll see what happens.
And people shouldn't have to do that. If you're willing to put out your own money that you want to give to these corporations, to these businesses that you want to go on vacation for, you shouldn't have to say, okay, well, you have to pick and choose this or that or this or that. It should be customized to what the person wants to do for their vacation on the money that they earn, that they want to spend.
Well, and don't these parks have these are physical places, right?
Right.
They have a capacity. I mean, I understand, you know, Universal's trying to mitigate demand, but you can only put so many people in the park at once. So that day sold out. Like, so, you know, if it comes to that day sold out, you can't buy a ticket that day. I mean, isn't that the easy way to prevent? I mean, well, why do we need all this other stuff involved, like the 3-day minimum and that and the other, to like create these barriers of entry when really there is a cap already? We have a cap. It's the physical capacity of the park.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. You know, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And look, Disney's guilty of a lot of this stuff too. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people are going to get on us and be like, well, what about the Mouse House? What about Disney? And Disney has a lot of shit going on too. And they make a lot of mistakes. And we talk about it all the time. But that doesn't mean we're going to ignore Universal's mistakes just because, you know, Disney's bigger and you know, we're going to also hold Universal accountable. Because like I said earlier, when you just focus on Disney and you let Universal get away with everything, you're creating the same arrogant monster that you were supposedly leaving, right? So you're making the same mistakes, fandom. You got to hold both companies accountable. You got to, you know what I'm saying? Within reason and within respect. You know what I'm saying? You got to let them know. Speak, you know, with the surveys, you know, on Twitter, respectfully, things like that. Let them know. So we'll see what happens. But any final thoughts, George, before we get out of here?
Yeah, actually there is. I'm actually speaking out to you, Universal. I'm still waiting on my gift card that was supposed to be sent to me over a year ago due to some of the issues when we were staying on property. I forget what the whole notion was, but actually because I kind of went on a little tangent on Twitter and I tagged them, they actually reached out to me through the DMs and said that they were going to send me a gift card. I have yet to see that gift card, Universal. I want my damn gift card.
That is interesting, George. So it's been over. Yeah, I remember that when you went with your family.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
that was well over a year ago.
Well
That
over
was
a year. That was like excuse me. That was like 2 years ago.
almost 2 years ago. And nothing in your email or anything
Nothing.
like that?
No email. Nothing in the mail. Nope. I want my $25 gift card. That's just it.
Yeah.
That's
What happened with that? Well, that's interesting. Well, reach out. Did you reach out to them recently on Twitter?
no. I'm gonna have to again.
You're gonna have to. Yeah. See what
Yeah.
they do. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. Well, hey, we've had Universal Orlando in our chat before, though. No joke. They've been in our live chat before. So, hey, Universal, if you're watching right now, get a hold of this guy.
Yeah.
He's looking for a $25. Yes. All right, George, if you let everybody home know where they can find you on social media, Mr.
Love it. You can find me on social media on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
There it is. Comment down below with all your thoughts on everything we discussed today, whether you agree, whether you disagree. If you disagree, that's all good. Comment down below. Just be civil. Just be nice. That's all we ask. But interesting discussion. You know, I think that it does sort of give us a hint as to where at least fans online are mentally with this whole equation at Universal. Like it really is Epic Universe a la carte mindset here right now that we're seeing. Will the families, will the normies be that same way? I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. It's very, very interesting, but comment down below. We would love to hear from you. And until the next time, peace.
세상은 누구에게나 공평하게 추악해.